Hello dear viewers, welcome to our English news edition, the major stories. A one-on-one meeting between the President Ismail Margeli and Omar Hassan al-Bashir in Sudan. Prime Minister chose interministerial meeting where the government condemns the violence and takes measures to protect repatriated Djiboutian tourists to Djibouti. Thank you for joining us. During his stay in the Sudanese capital, the President of the Republic, Ismail Margeli, had a one-on-one meeting with his counterpart, Omar Hassan al-Bashir. Meeting attended by senior Djiboutians and Sudanese officials. The two heads of states discussed the excellent relations between Djibouti and Sudan. For his part, the Djibouti President congratulated his counterpart for these efforts in his role for reconciliation between the southern Sudanese parties. The Sudanese capital Khartoum hosted yesterday an important meeting for the signing of an agreement between the belligerents of the South Sudan Salva Kiir and Riek Machar for power sharing and the return to the country bruised by the civil war. The meeting prepared by IGAD will bring together several heads of states of the region, including Sudanese President Hassan al-Bashir, who has a good command over the South Sudan matters, with the country that is part of the Sudan before its independence in 2011, and the Djibouti President Ismail Margeli, who is actively campaigning for peace in Africa. The government and the rebels of southern Sudan are available to find common ground by signing an agreement. The two main South Sudanese rivals had already gathered to establish a permanent ceasefire and withdraw their troops from the urban areas. The same desire was reaffirmed in the peace talks held on July 7 in Kampala, Uganda. On this occasion, they also accepted a power-sharing agreement which must see the vice presidency. In speaking at the signing of these agreements, the head of state, Ismail Margeli, delivered an important speech in which he commended the efforts of Sudan for the reconciliation. Let's listen to him.
الصلاة والسلام على رسوله الأمين سيدنا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم. Mr. Chairman, Excellencies, Heads of States and Government, ladies and gentlemen, allow me at the outset, I would like to congratulate the Prime Minister and Chairperson of the IGAD Heads of Assembly of Heads of States and Government, His Excellency Abiy Ahmed, for convening this summit, as well as his continuous leadership. Allow me also to express my sincere appreciation and heartfelt gratitude to the government and the people of Sudan for the warm welcome and legendary hospitality extended to me and my delegation since our arrival in the beautiful city of Khartoum. I would like to commend our dear regional organization IGAD, the High-Level Revitalization Forum and the Joint Monitoring and Evaluation Commission for their tireless work and dedication. We have at our last meeting mandated our two brothers, His Excellency Hassan Omar al-Bashir, President of the Republic of Sudan, and His Excellency Uhuru Kenyatta, President of the Republic of Kenya, to build on the Addis Ababa talks and to conduct the second and third round face-to-face discussions between President Salva Kiir Mayardit and Dr. Riek Machar Teny. We commend both their Excellencies, President Hassan Omar al-Bashir and President Uhuru Kenyatta, for their hard work. Thanks to their wisdom and experience, and despite difficult negotiations, they have delivered solutions to the most difficult and challenging conflict of our region. We also congratulate President Salva Kiir and Dr. Riek Machar, who have both shown great political leadership and compromise for the sake of their people. They have indeed redouble their efforts in order to reach an historic agreement that we wholeheartedly welcome and expect its swift implementation in order to bring an end to destruction and long suffering of our South Sudanese brothers and sisters. Today's agreement constitutes a breakthrough and a very important step forward. Today's agreement demonstrates that both parties have definitely chosen peace over war. The South Sudanese people, who have been enduring terrible suffering and deprivation, are watching us, hoping desperately for the end of this fratricidal conflict. We urge our brothers to move ahead in order to realize the full potential of this young brotherly country and participate in the development of our region. Djibouti stands ready to help restore trust and confidence in order to achieve peace and prosperity for the sake of Sudan, South Sudan, and the region as a whole. I thank you.
The signing ceremony of South Sudanese protagonists taking place after a series of negotiations started in June after the extraordinary summit of IGAD in Addis Ababa, the capital of Ethiopia. Note that Djibouti appointed an envoy to IGAD for the South Sudanese issue, and he is available on the SADC website for the South Sudan negotiations. The Khartoum meeting is an investigation into the final peace in South Sudan that was in ongoing civil war between 2 and 5 years, and when the current president accused his former vice president of the center of law. The United Nations reports that the fighting between the two camps has left thousands dead and millions displaced and forced thousands to flee. The Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed presided this morning at the end of the morning an inter-ministerial meeting at his office to discuss the situation of the Djiboutian tourists victims of violence yesterday in Tiritawa. Several ministers and the Secretary General of the Presidency, the collaborators of the Prime Minister, the Mayor of Djibouti, Mrs. Fatima Wali Osman, and the main security officers took part in the meeting. The government has seized the Ethiopian authorities to ensure the security of Djiboutians on the Ethiopian soil and spares no effort to help our nationals. Government also states that these isolated incidents do not call into question the excellent relations between the two countries. It also warns against any incitement to violence on the national territory. At the end of the interministerial technical meeting held on August 6th, chaired by the Prime Minister, the government makes the following statement, saying the government of the Republic of Djibouti condemns the violence perpetrated against Djiboutian summer tourists in Diridawa on the day of 5 August, and following this criminal act, the Djiboutian authorities have already seized the Ethiopian authorities to ensure the protection of Djiboutians present on Ethiopian territory. The government of the Republic of Djibouti states that these isolated incidents do not call into question the excellent relations between the two countries and that it spares no effort to ensure the safety of Djiboutians. The government of the Republic of Djibouti informs Djiboutians that the necessary arrangements have been made to repatriate all those presently in Ethiopia who wish to return to their country. It invites its nationals present on the Ethiopian territory to make contact with the consulate of Djibouti in Diridawa and our embassy in Addis Ababa. Djiboutian security services whose police are on the alert to preserve security on the national territory. In a statement this morning, Colonel of the National Police, Colonel Abdullahi Abdi, said that the elements of the police are working so the unrest in Ethiopia does not spill over to Djibouti. The director also asks the collaboration of the population, especially young people, with the security forces to avoid the violence. In addition, foreign nationals living, he said, under the protection of the elements of the police who are deployed in each district of Djibouti and the great suburb of Belbela. Colonel Abdullahi said last night the police prized the safety of Ethiopian foreigners. Police focal points are in place in each district to prevent possible violence against Ethiopian foreign nationals. Those who ask for it will be repatriated to their country. The colonel of the police concluded that the troublemakers will be mastered to keep a good image of our country, a land of peace and rule of law in the region of East Africa, which is suffering from violence. As every year, the Ministry of Women and Family celebrates the International Day of Widowed women are sometimes in a precarious situation, so they cannot support themselves and even marginalized in some countries. Through the Ministry of Women and Family, the government of the Republic of Djibouti has celebrated this event since 2012. Since then, the Ministry of Women and Family has celebrated 4 international days. In 2018, the International Widows Day will be dedicated to widows from 5 interior regions. To do this, the Ministry of Women and the Family will grant livestock donation to 25 widows. Through this initiative, the Ministry of Women and Family wishes to participate in the welfare of widows and contribute to the socio-economic improvement of the families of these widows. During the celebration of this day, the Ministry of Women and Family, in collaboration with the UNFD, will give each widow 3 goats. In total, this event will reach 25 widow women and 17 goats will deliver to them. A workshop on the popularization of the refugee law and its 2 implementing decrees opened yesterday at the Sheraton Hotel in Djibouti. This workshop was organized by the owners and the Norwegian Refugee Council NGO to provide a framework for information and exchange on the Refugee Status Act and its decrees. Present at this workshop were the Executive Secretary of Honors, Mr. Hussein Hassan Dirar, UNHCR Representative Mr. Abdullahi Barwe, NRC Representative Mr. Eric, UNICEF Representative Mr. Janabu Mahond, and all partners in government departments, national and international NGOs, as well as all UN agencies. A brief presentation of global framework for refugees approach was made by Mr. Albert Kantumba of UNHCR. The Republic of Djibouti honored the commitments made to the international community at the 2016 Next York Leaders Summit, engaging refugees in the national legal system, initiative that allows them access to basic social services, providing quality education to refugee children and integrating them into the national health systems. In order to improve the management of diabetic children, the Peltier Hospital has developed an exclusively dedicated register to facilitate the outpatient circuit and follow-up of young patients in better conditions and with appropriate psychological supervision. In order to strengthen the management of pediatric diabetes, the Pediatric Department of Peltier General Hospital organizes information and awareness sessions given by Dr. Abdurrahman Mumin on possible measures introduced to improve the quality of pediatric diabetes, the management of pediatric diabetes. Indeed, many parents and their children attended this information awareness session to listen to the explanations and advice of their pediatrician, Dr. Abdurrahman. Peltier Hospital has also worked to facilitate the therapeutic approaches by having a single register on which young patients will be enrolled and which will improve their medical follow-up. In addition, all young diabetic patients will benefit from free medical prescriptions, especially insulin. Moving on to the international news, more than 2,000 tourists evacuated after Indonesia earthquake killed 98. More with Hindi Ibrahim.
Indonesia Monday sent their rescuers fanning out across the holiday island of Lombok and evacuated more than 2,000 tourists after a powerful earthquake killed at least 8 people and damaged thousands of buildings. The shallow 6.9 magnitude quake sparked terror among tourists and local alike, coming just a week after another deadly terror march surged through Lombok and killed 17 people. Rescuers on Monday searched for survivors in the rapids of houses, mosques and schools destroyed in the latest disaster on Sunday evening.
Hiroshima marks 73rd anniversary of atomic bombing. More in this video.
Hiroshima marked the anniversary of the August 6, 1945 atomic bombing of the city, with a somber ceremony Monday to remember those killed and injured, and a call to eliminate nuclear weapons amid the hopes of denuclearization North Korea. Hiroshima Mayor Kazumi Metsuzu opened his speech by describing the hellish scene of the blast that morning 73 years ago and the agony of the victim, telling the audience to listen as if you and your loved ones were there. Then he raised concern about the global rise of extremism and the tensions, and urged the Japanese government to take more leadership toward achieving a truly nuclear-free world. The U.S. attack on Hiroshima killed 140,000 people, and the bombing of Nagasaki killed more than 17,003.
In sports, in tennis, don't get your hopes up on the Federer Nadal U.S. Open final. More in this reportage.
The Grand Slam season is winding down. The manifold narrative of a few months ago are dwelling. Roger Federer and Nadal, those have warrior and rival, may soon be eclipsed by younger, healthier, hungry stars. Time is running out for the one piece of the gorgeous music these two again have created to fall into place. Nadal and Federer have never faced each other in the U.S. Open final. It is an anomaly, given that the two both have won the American major multiple times and have gained attitude and claw in 9 Grand Slam finals. The biggest impediment to the grim final may be the chronic struggles Nadal had in the post-Wimbledon court season. It traces back to the earlier portion of his career, when he had yet to master the names of this service, but he's also been plagued by bad luck, including opportunities lost because of injuries.
And that's all for this news. Thank you for joining us on Radio Television of Djibouti, and have a good night.